Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day live stream. If you missed this live stream, we're going to be recording it, and we're going to be adding it to our YouTube channel and to our playlist for these Lean Publishing tips of the day, so you can watch this anytime, the whole thing. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is a really cool Leanpub feature called packages. Essentially, what you can do is you can add what we call an extra, so a digital file to your book, and then you can, in the admin kind of part of where you work on your book, and then you can actually add that digital file for sale along with your book. So this is a very cool feature. KDP obviously doesn't have anything like this. There are a number of Leanpub features that we have that they don't, partly due to their size and partly due to ours, but partly due to the fact that Leanpub is sort of a very sort of tech-heavy team. We're always thinking of interesting things to do. This feature has been around for a long time. It probably came at the request of an author who I think it was probably something like, I want to sell code samples along with my book at a higher price than just the book alone. So we added the ability to add what we call an extra, and I'll show you how to do this pretty soon. Add an extra to your book and then create a package, which is the book plus the extra for sale. And you can actually do more than one package where you kind of ladder the things that you're selling. This is a really cool feature for self-published authors. One of the reasons it's so cool is that if you're a self-published author and you've gone through all the trouble of writing a book, you've probably done other things. You've probably recorded videos, or if you haven't, you probably should, to accompany your book, particularly if it's a nonfiction book. If you've written a programming book, you may have code samples. If you've written a book that sort of originated in a course, you may have videos to sell along with your book. So let me just take you to today's blog post. You can find this on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. And then there's a kind of tag tip of the day where you can find all these tips of the day blog posts. This one is where we talk about selling digital content along with your book, like I've just been describing. And the example that we give is one of our best-selling books of all time, Our Programming for Data Science. So let me see if I can just switch to share a different tab and see if that works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, this is one of Leanpub's best-selling books, and it's a kind of a case study that we like to go to all the time because Roger Pang, the author, used a lot of different Leanpub features to achieve this best-selling status. So you can see here that he's got 3 packages available for sale: the book plus data sets plus R code files, and the book plus lecture videos plus data sets plus R code files. Now, by default, when you publish a book on Leanpub, you will have one package, which is just the book, and you won't see any of this stuff here. Oh, there we go. It happened. That seems to happen on StreamYard every once in a while. Let me just share again. And get back to it. Okay. Sorry about that. So here we are back at the book. So by default, obviously, if you publish a book, it's just the book, but you can add these extra things like data sets and R code files and things like that. Now, the key thing to see here is that as with all Leanpub books and courses, you set 2 prices. You set a minimum price and a suggested price, and people choose what to pay. In this case, you can see prominently displayed on the right the fact that the book has a free minimum price and a $20 suggested price. So by default, then this pricing slider, as we call it, is set to $20, which is the suggested price. And of course, because we pay such a high royalty rate of 80%, we actually show how much the author is going to get. And long-time kind of Leanpub authors will know that there are people who actually take the author earns slider and use that to decide how much they want to pay. For example, if they wanted to pay the author $20, they would slide it up a little bit. People do slide right, but of course they could also slide all the way left. In this case, it would be down to 0 and get the book for free. Now, what happens when someone clicks one of these packages is the pricing gets reset to this pricing that you've set for that package. So if you recall just now, the book itself has a free minimum price and a suggested price of, I believe it was $20. If you choose this package where you're getting a bunch of substantial digital content along with the book, the minimum price is $20 and the suggested price is $25. So now what you're doing is you're presenting the customer with various choices What you're saying is, like in this case, being very generous. Oh, you can get the book just for free if you want. You can pay if you want to, but if you want to pay for it, why don't you buy something that comes along with this extra content? And then the way you will typically do this is go from like lowest price to highest price if you do more than one package. And then the highest price package will be the bottom one. And here you can see that if you select that package, the minimum price is $30 and the suggested price is $35. We'll probably do a whole one of these tips of the day about pricing at some point. Probably we'll do more than one in time. Pricing is very difficult. There's no right answer to pricing, I would venture to say, in my opinion. There's experimenting with pricing, though. That is the right thing to do. What you'll want to do is, if you're doing packages, is you'll want to start with the lowest being the top, the highest being the bottom, the one with the most to offer. And you'll want to experiment with how you represent this thing, the package, what you name it, things like that. I should mention that it's not exactly like relevant to this topic of selling additional digital content, but you can also use packages to create multi-copy packages, so people could buy the book, the team edition for 10 copies of the book, or like the enterprise edition for 100 copies of the book, and people can easily just choose between those different options, which is just very cool. Now, to get into the weeds, if you're a Leanpub author and you're working on a book, and let's say you've got the book published, I'm signed into my account here, so you'll see this little edit kind of button. You wouldn't see this if you weren't an author. Let's see if we don't get that strange scrolling stuff going on. Okay, good. So if this is the overview page for a book. If you're a Leanpub author, you'll be familiar with this page. This is the kind of everything page for your book. It's at your book's URL /overview. Again, you have to be signed into your account to see this page. And if you go down into store, the first thing you need to do, the two relevant pages here are extras, which I hope you can see here that I'm looking at. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay. So still getting used to doing these live streams. I guess I'll have to get better at that. But in any case, here's what I was talking about. The book has a minimum price of free and a suggested price of $20 for the base package. You can set up a package with more where the minimum price changes, and you can set a package up with more where the minimum price gets even higher. So you want to ladder people up as you're setting up these packages. And of course, the great thing about this is that you're offering people great value with these packages, right? So they're actually getting something more and paying more, and they see that you're earning more as well, which is a really great thing. Anyway, let's go back to this tab. So I was looking at this book. This is the edit button that I was talking about. When you go to one of your books on Leanpub, you can see the edit button. You click edit, and then you can go in here, and you can see that on your overview page, you've got an extras page and a packages page under store. The store section is where you sort of set all these settings for your book. So if you have an extra digital file, like say an audiobook, you go to the extras page and you would click new extra. And you would give it a name and a description, and when you would upload it here using the sort of standard kind of box to upload things. And when it's uploaded, you then go to packages. You would see that by default, it's slightly confusing because most people wouldn't think of just the book itself as a package, but we're kind of programmers, so we do things that way. But anyway, by default, you have a base package, which is just the book. And if you wanted to add a package, which is the book plus something else, you would click new package. And here you can do all kinds of things. You can get it of a name, an identifier, which is used to sort of distinguish packages from each other, which is kind of technical, and you don't need to worry about that too much. You can give it a description. So the package will have this description lower down on the landing page. And then you'll see the ordinary kind of pricing stuff. And you can see what I was talking about before, which is the number of copies that a reader gets with a single purchase. By default, it's 1. But you can actually add this to make it like 10, like I said, to be a kind of team edition, or 100 copy. We call it a department edition, or 500 for an enterprise edition, and things like that. And then when you create those packages, you'll have various kind of settings that you can set to make sure they're published and things like that. But once they're published, you'll have this really powerful way of selling additional content to go along with your book. Like I was saying before, the thing is, if you're a self-published author, creating additional, we'll have a separate tip of the day about this as well, but like creating additional content to go along with your book is a really, really cool thing to be able to do. Like I said, you can't do it on all the platforms. In fact, you can't do it on most. I don't know about any kind of like dedicated book publishing online platform where an author can just arbitrarily add their own digital content to sell along with it. So that's a very cool thing. If you have self-published a nonfiction book, I would definitely recommend having, or even, I mean, if you've done a fiction book, you can imagine selling the book plus a poster set or a set of posters to go along with, digital posters to go along with the book. You can also like do interviews, have like, you know, podcast interviews or something like that, podcast style interviews to go along with it that you would want to sell. I would, if you've gone to the trouble of writing a nonfiction book, definitely think about something that you would enjoy creating that would be additional digital content to go along with your book. And then if you're on Leanpub, it's relatively easy. You go to your overview page, you go to extras, you upload the book, you go to the packages page for your book, and then you sort of create a package and add whatever extras you want to it. You give it a descriptive name, and boom, you've got something else to sell to people and something of value, of greater value to them, for them to buy or to give to their team, buy for their team, or to buy for their friends as a gift. So sorry for the screw up with the not screen sharing for a few minutes there. That's funny. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for watching this Leanpub tip of the day. You can find all these tips of the day on leanpub.com/blog. And you can also find them on our YouTube channel on the playlist dedicated to this topic of tips of the day. There's going to be growing ones. I kind of enjoy doing these. We're going to be doing 5 a week. So, you know, a year from now, there will be 250 of them probably. But there'll be a sort of really great, we're hoping that they're a really great resource for authors to kind of, you know, browse in the future whenever they've got, you know, a few minutes to spare. Check out this cool thing on Leanpub and hopefully enjoy watching me talk about it in a structured way. So thanks very much, everybody. You can catch these live streams on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe there. It really helps build community. And if you're a Leanpub author, you're not only going to be helping yourself get discovered by subscribing there, but you're going to help other Leanpub authors get discovered by subscribing there, because every subscription helps increase discoverability. So thanks very much, everybody.